You're at a BBQ joint, and someone from Kansas City insists their sauce is the only real BBQ sauce. Thick, sweet, tomato-based. Then someone from Carolina says that's not BBQ sauce. Real sauce is thin, vinegary, no tomato at all. A Texan claims both are wrong because real BBQ doesn't need sauce. You've watched these arguments play out. 3 regions, 3 completely different bottles, 3 manufacturing processes creating opposite results from similar starting ingredients. How do they all end up calling themselves BBQ sauce? Let's explore the process. Here's what confuses people. BBQ sauce isn't a recipe. It's a philosophy split 3 ways by ingredients that don't work together. Tomatoes create thick body. Vinegar cuts fat and adds tang. Molasses brings dark depth. Put all 3 together and they want to separate. Too much tomato and you get ketchup. Too much vinegar and you get salad dressing. The magic is in the ratio, and each region chose completely different ratios. You've noticed some BBQ sauces coat ribs like paint, while others run off like water. That's regional manufacturing, creating fundamentally different products. Kansas City sauce dominates grocery shelves. Sweet Baby Ray's, KC Masterpiece, Bullseye, you've seen them everywhere. They start with tomato paste as foundation, creating thickness. Then corn syrup or brown sugar for sweetness. Molasses for dark color. Vinegar goes in last, just enough to cut sweetness. Manufacturing heats this to 160 degrees, cooking tomato until sugars caramelize. This creates candy-like sweetness coating your tongue. High tomato content means natural pectin thickens the sauce as it cools, creating texture that clings to ribs. Most KC sauces contain xanthan gum for extra viscosity that survives heat. This is why you can paint it on meat during last 10 minutes of cooking. It forms a glaze instead of running into fire. You've probably noticed that glossy, lacquered sheen on competition ribs. That's KC-style sauce, caramelizing under direct heat. But in Eastern Carolina, that thick, sweet sauce is considered blasphemy. Their sauce flips the formula. Vinegar first, everything else distant second. The base is white vinegar or apple cider vinegar, sometimes 70% of volume. Crushed red pepper, black pepper, salt, maybe a bit of sugar to soften acidity. 0 tomato, 0 thickness. You've wondered why anyone wants vinegar on meat. The answer is pork fat. Eastern Carolina BBQ means whole hog rendering massive fat during 12 hours of smoking. Vinegar cuts through fat instantly. Acid breaks down fat molecules, making fatty pork taste clean. The manufacturing barely qualifies. Ingredients mix cold in tanks. Heat briefly to dissolve sugar. Bottle immediately. No cooking, no thickeners. The sauce stays thin because it's meant to soak into pulled pork fibers, not sit on top like frosting. You shake it on chopped pork and toss before serving. Western and South Carolina add mustard-based sauce. Yellow mustard becomes foundation, thicker than vinegar, thinner than tomato. Apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, spices mixed in. This emerged from German immigrants in the 1700s, bringing mustard traditions. Manufacturing is straightforward. Mixers blend at room temperature. Heat briefly to 140 for pasteurization. Bottle. Mustard provides natural emulsifiers, keeping ingredients suspended. You've tasted this and noticed it's tangy without harsh bite, sweet without being candy. Hits between Carolina's acid and Kansas City's sweetness. But here's the kicker. Texas throws out tomato, vinegar, and mustard for some styles. Central Texas sauce is beef drippings, black pepper, maybe coffee. Thin, dark, barely qualifies as sauce. Some pit masters use no sauce at all, considering it an insult to brisket that spent 14 hours absorbing smoke. When Texas makes tomato sauce, it's thinner than Kansas City, less sweet, with more chili powder and cumin. Manufacturing is simple. Ingredients simmer 30 minutes. Bottle without thickeners. Texas restaurants serve sauce on the side in cups, not painted on meat. That's culture saying sauce should enhance, not mask. And here's where manufacturing reveals authenticity debates. Mass-produced BBQ sauces optimize for shelf stability. High-sugar preserves without refrigeration. Vinegar and salt preserve. Xanthan gum prevents separation during months in warehouses. Small regional producers skip these additions. Their sauces require refrigeration because they're not engineered for shelf life. You've noticed craft sauces say refrigerate after opening, while Sweet Baby Ray's doesn't. That's not about quality. It's choosing between preservation engineering and minimal processing. Both work. Different priorities. The grocery aisle hides regional wars behind similar bottles. Kansas City's thick sweetness won national distribution because it appeals to broadest palate. Kids eat it without complaint. Works on chicken and pork. High sugar creates addictive quality. Carolina vinegar sauces stay regional because straight vinegar scares Americans outside the South. Texas style barely gets bottled because the culture resists bottled sauce. You buy what distribution chose to make national, not necessarily what's most authentic to BBQ tradition. Most Americans think BBQ sauce means thick, sweet, tomato-based, because that dominates grocery shelves. Ask someone from Eastern Carolina, and they'll say, that's not BBQ sauce. It's a regional variation that won distribution wars through sugar and shelf stability. Both are correct. Manufacturing capabilities, shelf stability requirements, and regional pride all determine which sauces travel beyond their origins and which stay fiercely local. You're not just choosing a condiment anymore. You're choosing a regional philosophy. Kansas City says sauce should be thick, sweet, and crowd-pleasing. Tomato paste and corn syrup creating candy-like glaze. Carolina says sauce should cut fat, not mask it. Vinegar and pepper letting the pork speak. Texas says properly smoked meat doesn't need sauce at all. 3 answers to the same question. 3 manufacturing processes. 3 definitions of what BBQ means. Which camp are you in?